Hello, truth seekers. Lawrence here, and welcome to Easy Enlightenment. So, religion or spirituality is so big in the world that we don't even investigate or question before we be part of this movement, isn't it? We be part of this movement because nothing in life is helping to overcome the fear, overcome the struggle. And religion or spirituality is the sort of reservoir or space where you can be free from the fear. That's the promise from the religion or spirituality. So, because of the suffering, we be part of it. But some of you have been part of this movement, religious movement or spiritual movement. By being part of it, are you free? Are you free from your fear? Are you free from the mental drama, the emotional fluctuation? The reason to be part of the spirituality or even religion is to be free from the mind or to align with the God. And aligning with the God means dropping the mind, being free from the mind. Aligning with the God means aligning with the truth. So, religion or spirituality sort of speak the same language, but somehow it also misses the real teaching. Anyway, suffering is making us to be part of the spirituality or religion. And to be free from pain, struggle, fluctuation, fear, one must need to investigate one's own experience. Why certain experience is making me fluctuate, making me experience fear. Questioning oneself is a direct path to to enlighten oneself. Questioning oneself is the fastest way to realize the truth, the absolute truth, the unchanging truth. But we seldom question, isn't it? We question the world to make things better in the world, outside of us. Yes, from that, it can bring some healthy flow in life. But questioning at the world is not the solution for our inner struggle. To end the inner struggle, one must need to question oneself. That is the start. Questioning is the way to figure out the root cause of the struggle, and questioning further on the root cause of the struggle is the way to end the struggle or ending the mind's drama, ending the mental fluctuation and emotional fluctuation. So, lack of questioning to ourselves is not is is the reason that we are not able to end the pain in life. Even people who question themselves why the struggle or conflict is in my life, when they question themselves, they only question until to the point where they see the root cause of the suffering. And after seeing the root, they plant the positive seed. And they find the positive solution or redirect themselves. Once you plant the positive seed or move in a different direction uh, from the painful, it's just diverting one's mind, and that is not the solution to uproot the root cause of the struggle, pain, or fear. To end the fear in life, once you figure out the root cause of the struggle, then you need to dismantle the root as well. Because if you don't dismantle the root, your life is still happening from the root. Same root. Even you be positive you move with the positive action and perception. That positivity is itself is the root. Same root. The root, if you don't dismantle the root itself is a fear of something, something, something. And when you're being positive, moving with a positive mentality and action, that itself is the fear. If you ask yourself, why am I being positive? Yes, positivity is needed in the world. It makes things better. But positivity doesn't make things better within. Outside, you may have a good flow, but inside, being positive doesn't dissolve the fear, doesn't dissolve the mental fluctuation. If you ask yourself, why am I being positive? That why is going to help you see uh, the subtlest mind, the mental layer, which is eventually you'll see the fear of being nobody, fear of death. Eventually, you see the fear of death. And just to run away from the fear of death, you're being positive to maintain what? Experience. You're maintaining the experience, or you're seeking experience with positivity. But remember, spiritual journey is about seeing your true self. So positivity is just a costume you're wearing to be part of the world. And to see yourself wearing that costume itself is making you not able to see yourself. So that's what's happening right now. So questioning is the way to figure out one's own true nature or the unchanging truth within. So we are already being part of the religion or spiritual journey, but something you have forgot to ask yourself is this question: why am I being part of the religious movement? Why am I being part of the spiritual journey? Have you ever asked yourself this question? Yes, life is suffering. Right now, life is full of fear. And it doesn't have to be the inner struggle and doesn't have to go through the inner fear. We can change that, or we can dissolve that, the inner struggle. And yes, when nothing is working in the world, our last resort is the spiritual movement. And superficial reason to be part of the spiritual movement or religion is to overcome the fear, or even to make God happy. The reason to make the God happy is trying to be a good human being, good person, isn't it? To show the God I'm doing positive stuff in life. So whatever reason is that, that reason is that you picked up along the way. You have heard the highest meaning from the spiritual movement, and you just copying and moving with that movement. Thus, that idea is not even yours. So figure out today for yourself, what is the reason? You ask yourself, what is the reason for me to be part of the spiritual movement or religious movement? Why am I doing this? Sit and find for yourself. Don't just go with the idea that you have picked up from the world. You figure out for yourself. The reason I'm asking you to do this is because if you question yourself, and if you keep tracing the mind backward, then you'll surprise yourself. You'll start to see the wave of the mind. You're surprised to see that all your movement in life is influenced by the world. It's not even yours. Basically, you're copying, and basically you are in the copy paste movement and living your life with that. Basically, also you realize that you're not living your life from your own way. You're living someone's life. You're living that life because everybody is doing the same thing. Everybody is doing the same thing. That's why we don't question ourselves. Question why we are being part of the religion or why we are being part of the spirituality. We just do it because everybody is doing it. That's powerful, when everybody is doing that, we just get curious but never ask and just be part of it. But if you step back and look at the world, look at the people that you're surrounded by, are they free? Free from the fear, free from the struggle? By the way, you realize if you hear the conversation, these are the same people who just keep complaining about life. So, if you hear the conversation without judging, you realize that there's so much conflict, so much fear in people's life. And fear is never ending. And and because of that, the world is always chaotic. They're always going through the fluctuation. fluctuation in the world is created by people, human with lots of ego. And the spiritual journey is about death of the ego. Only by the annihilation of the ego, the, the world will be in a better place. To make a world a better place, one must need to work on oneself. Everybody has to do the work on figuring out the truth or annihilating one's own ego. And to annihilate the ego, one must need to understand the ego. And what makes people understand their own ego is the self-inquiry. Anyway, today you ask yourself, you're already in the movement, but you ask yourself, why am I being part of this spiritual journey? Why am I being part of the religious movement? If you stay with the why, you start to see the reason. And whatever reason is that, you ask yourself, why is that important? Then there's another reason. Why is that important? So if you use the why and trace it back like this, you will figure out the reason to join the spiritual movement or religious movement. Once you see the root, your life is already happening from the root. You're already doing it. Now, once you see the root, you have to dismantle the root as well. The root itself is the fear. The root itself is a conditioned belief. And you got to work on that, work on dismantling with the same inquiry. Why? Why am I attached to the root? This belief. Then you start to see the layers of the fear if you trace your own mind backward. And basically, once you see the root, once you work on dismantling the root, you'll end up with a no mind, where you cannot dismantle anymore. Basically, whether you question today's suggestion or anything you want to trace back, your attachment fear, you'll always end up with the same place if you work on dismantling the mind. And that is what you're supposed to experience. And this is the way to become a thorough of your own mind. An enlightenment journey is about becoming thorough of one's own mind. Thoroughness is the way to understand the nature of the mind. And understanding the nature of the mind, or seeing the nature of the mind, this realization will help you to loosen the ego in yourself. But loosening the ego is not yet done. The ego is still, the movement in life is still happening with that. And it will still happen with that even after post-enlightenment. Why? Because in life you need a belief. You need ideas to communicate in the world. And all belief, all ideas is an ego self. But the only difference is post-enlightenment journey is you are not affected by the mind. You just see the mind as an ally. That's it. But if the awakening hasn't taken place, then mind is sometimes ally, sometimes enemy, isn't it? So life is like that when the truth is not seen. So, dismantling the mind thoroughly makes the person to see the nature of the mind. Once the understanding takes place, once the dismantling work is enough done, when the dismantling work is done enough, then if you ask yourself, who am I? This is the final click in this spiritual journey. The who am I is going to make you catch that the ego cannot comprehend the truth. And that's where the ego self in the person gives up and rests in the truth. And that truth is the consciousness itself. Truth of who we are is the consciousness. And the nature of the consciousness is conscious and empty. Empty. So to be who we are, or to reclaim the seat of the consciousness, we must empty ourselves. And how do we empty ourselves? Tracing the mind backward until no mind is left. And asking ourselves, who am I? That's the journey. So again, the spiritual religious movement is big. When something is big, we don't even question the path. We just be part of it because everybody's doing it. When everybody is doing it, we don't see the wrong in the path, and we don't see the wrong in the people because of the hugeness of the path, because the path is big. So, but if you want to set yourself free, by the way, when you see the truth, your inner seeking ends. That means your spiritual journey ends. Your any movement inwardly ends. So spiritual journey ends, and end of the spiritual journey begins fearless life, non-conflicting life. And that's what spirituality is supposed to, your spiritual journey is supposed to take you to experience truth and unfold the fearless life. But if that is not, if you're not there yet, and if you're struggling with the path, I suggest you to question yourself. So self-inquiry is the way to realize the absolute self or the truth. Okay? Question, guys. Questioning is important. Anyway, thank you for watching the video. Hope this makes sense. Yeah. Take care for now, and I will see you in the next video.